Real quick, before the video starts, you can now support me financially. I've set up a Buy Me a Coffee profile. It's like a Patreon, but simpler and also not blocked in Egypt by internet companies. So if you think my content is worth your money, or you just want to support my goal of getting the heck out of here, you now can. It only takes a minute and no sign up is required. The link is in the description and channel bio, and if not, that's fine, of course. It's never expected, but always appreciated. My viewers are genuinely some of the most supportive people I've interacted with. I love you all. You are the best. Now, on to the video. Today, we are reviewing a video about a vlogger who visited Egypt and got into a bit of trouble with the local authorities for filming. What? People getting harassed for recording and asked to delete their footage? How come? This has never happened before. Oh my god. I know, right? Wait, what's that? Oh, you were being sarcastic? Yeah, okay, fair enough. It does happen all the time. It's old news at this point. But then why the fuck are you talking about it again? Yeah, we get it. Egypt's bad. Well, I'm glad you asked, Egyptian me. I'm telling you about this because you want to keep bitching about Egypt. Well, yes, I do, but that's not why. I'm doing it because... Shut up. Shut up. You're on the payroll to say this. I know it. What's wrong? Cat got your tongue? You know I'm right. Sorry about that, guy. Anyway, as I was saying, the reason I'm talking about this is because of how the situation escalated and how the dude handled it. I think he was very smart in the way he went about it all. And I think the story serves as a good example on how to act if the police come to pick on you when you're on your own. Video is by a guy called Alex Chacon, and it is titled Getting Arrested in Egypt, which is a very clickable title, I must say. It sure worked on me. This wasn't sent to me by anyone, after all. I guess the YouTube god saw my content and decided it would be good for me, so here we are. This intro is already very freaking long. What the heck? Let's just get on with the video.
Today I'm going to share my experience I had when filming my last video in Giza, Egypt. First, let me say that this incident should not discourage you from visiting Egypt or the pyramids. The Egyptian people as a whole are some of the friendliest people you will ever meet.
Already we've got a little bit of a disclaimer here that most travel or vlog channels put. It's usually the same general message. People okay, police bad, and my personal biases aside, it is mostly true if you pick your interactions well.
I had just visited the pyramids, filmed an entire video there, and then decided to do a video about Giza itself. As I was walking just outside the pyramids, a guy started following me and told me no pictures. He was in civilian clothes. I kept walking because this was strange and felt exactly like it was when I got mugged in Paris.
Mugged in Paris, huh? How romantic.
Paris? It's beautiful.
Anyways, as we've established in previous videos, low-ranking police officers usually don't wear their uniforms, but they still carry their guns and are on a job anyway, which is very confusing for everyone who visits, and I don't blame them. In proper countries, an officer cannot operate without uniform, as far as I know, unless they're undercover doing some CIA shit or something.
Look at this dude. No.
And an off-duty cop is the same as any other citizen, but not here.
So I told him that many people had cameras here, and this was a public road, and he responded by flashing his gun at me. As I started filming him, he left.
They don't show their IDs to people just like that. You, as a citizen, don't have the right to ask an officer to ID themselves. Instead, they'll just tell you that they are cops, or more extremely, show you their gun. Which kinda does ID them as police, I guess, since we don't have gun carry laws for civilians here. So it's either the world's most confident bandits bluffing, or a cop. Usually a bit of both. But flashing it at you also implicitly sends a message. You better get back in line, bitch.
8 minutes later, I had two unidentifiable men following me. No, it's public road. I have done nothing wrong. You gonna show me your gun too?
Okay, well, these two guys have uniforms on at least, so that should serve as some ID there. At that point, you're expected to just stop and obey, which is why they're all like, huh? When he just ignored them and kept walking. Also, it goes without saying, but this is only because he's a foreigner. As an Egyptian, if you ignore a cop, you are gonna get yelled at, and it's not even impossible to get shot by him. Not likely, don't get me wrong, but it's not impossible either. I personally have had a gun subtly pointed at me at a checkpoint when I didn't hear them call out to me. He didn't like fully flag me or anything, but he had his rifle in his hand and the barrel was pointed in my general direction. Apparently, a guy with the hat is specific enough for him to assume I'm purposely ignoring them to hide something. Anyways, visitors get away with shit we don't. That's fact, and it was bold of Alex to keep on moving. Let's keep watching.
To avoid any confrontation, I jumped on the horse carriage to take me back to my hostel. A police car immediately stopped the carriage and told the owner that if he took me home, he would arrest him.
This is also pretty sketchy. The cops here are paranoid, and you avoiding them, being desperate enough to hop onto a horse carriage with someone from the unwashed, gross, ill people type, must mean you are hiding something very serious from them. This is all in their heads, of course. Don't realize how creepy they are being, even as officers. Cops here are entitled to so much, and you're expected to just obey them.
Now I got a guy with a gun following me. Why are you following me? You have followed me for 15 minutes. You're harassing me.
General, احنا police.
No, I've done nothing wrong.
In the hotel, sleeping hotel in هنا area ولا no? Where?
Why do you want to know where I'm sleeping?
Hotel.
No, why? You have your gun, right? Where's your identification?
General بتاعي بقى.
Do you not have identification card? Do you have ID card? I don't know if you're a police officer or not. A gun doesn't tell me that. This is a public area. Everybody has cameras. Why are you following me? Stop harassing me. Go away.
هو هنا.
Please go away. No more. Thank you.
He's trying to say that he wants Alex to meet the general of the district to sort this out, and he's trying to keep him on hold until he arrives. He may be asking where he's staying so they can show up there and continue this shit show in case he does get away from them before the final boss arrives. The fact that he kept recording probably helped him out a lot too. His boldness and the camera in their face will make them tone it down a lot, as brash as they all act, and while it would all be ultimately meaningless if the guy and footage just disappeared.
Now we got a guy with a gun following me.
Police still feel the pressure of being recorded and having everything they say or do documented. It is, after all, the reason they harass people into not filming.
The questions were invasive, unreasonable, and frankly quite dangerous to answer. He never answered why he was chasing me or harassing me. Why do I need to identify my nationality and tell a random guy with a gun with no identification where I'm sleeping? I genuinely felt harassed, and honestly that my life was now in danger.
They don't view it as harassment, it's just the popo doing popo stuff. The concepts of invasiveness and privacy are foreign here to begin with, but they are especially absent with figures of authority. And the people accept it because, again, it's dangerous to defy, and it's not even worth the hassle, honestly. Personally, I would have just showed the guy my ID and moved on with my life.
By the time I was walking to the main street, I had one police car and 15 different individuals after me. I wasn't filming when this happened, but to stop me from walking, the police car drove straight at me with clear intentions to hit me. But I quickly moved and he rammed me into a corner and his vehicle into a parked car. For reference, in most countries, this is assault with a deadly weapon.
Okay, I'm a little bit skeptical about this bit here. The car doesn't really show much, so we can't say if it looks like it just rammed something. But then again, it's a big truck, and it could have been already damaged since cars are not exactly treated kindly here. So we can't really say. The car is parked in the middle of the road, though, in the shots we do see of it, and not rammed into some other car. I don't really think the police would intentionally try to run over a tourist. The more likely scenario is that they were trying to block him with their car, which is also very not okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not defending them. If this was a real country, someone was gonna get fired over this. I'm just saying he might be exaggerating it to fluff up the story a little bit more. And the fact that he doesn't have footage of it, despite having the camera running all the time, makes it a little bit more sketchy. Or maybe it did happen and he's just misunderstanding the situation, which I wouldn't blame him if that was the case. I would be terrified too. I would imagine they'd have done it a little too Egyptianly for his comfort. Out here, we don't drive safe.
I was then forced to confront the mob that was after me, and I tried to reason with him, but again, it was useless. No one gave me a reason why they were after me. Random civilians got involved, and it got really messy.
Yes!
Hey!
Yes!
Did you just touch me? Did he just touch me? Did you touch me?
No.
This man just touched me, and I have it on video.
No touch you.
I recorded him.
No.
I recorded him touching me. Stop harassing me.
No touch.
You're lying to me. Who are you?
No touch.
Who are you? Who are you?
This policeman.
I am policeman.
Where's your badge?
اللي كان انت. What are you?
I don't need to talk to you. I've done nothing wrong. You touched me twice already.
1 minute.
You have touched me twice.
1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1
You
minute.
touched me.
1 minute.
What are you doing?
Personal space as a concept does not exist here, especially with the police.
Nothing. I'm trying to walk and film.
What's your nationality?
Doesn't matter what my nationality is. What is the problem? I'm going home. Thank you guys. You've been very kind.
Listen.
Thank you.
You can go home. You can go home.
That's the third time you touched me. Are you police?
No, I'm just translate. I'm just translate.
This is an official matter now. I cannot translate.
All right,
this
but
I was then forcibly detained. That means I was grabbed physically by two men, including one guy in a white uniform. He knew he messed up when he looked at me and saw I was filming him, so he ran off and I didn't see him again. This mob was now jeopardizing my safety, and it felt like I was about to get robbed and beaten as people were yelling and grabbing me. I continued trying to get away from this dangerous situation by calmly walking away, until finally a uniformed officer in another police car showed up.
The raid boss finally arrived. The low-level mobs had done their jobs of stalling him long enough. One thing I would like to comment on is how calm he remained during it all. If he had yelled back, cursed them out, or tried to run away, they would have an excuse to arrest him on the spot or even hurt him. It doesn't matter that they're the ones who started, because here you just don't ignore police. So it would be his fault, and his reaction will not be viewed as a reaction, but rather an action.
He asked me not to film. At this point, I stupidly agreed, and he said he was a captain of the area. I repeatedly asked him to show me his identification and for everyone else to show me their identification as well, which everyone refused. Again, I asked why they were harassing me. Again, I was not given any reason. 10 minutes later, he finally showed me one of his subordinates' IDs. It was frail, sun-faded paper that really didn't look official.
I've actually never seen a police ID before, so I cannot confirm or deny this, but I do know civilian IDs here are this hard plastic stuff. They're not paper. But again, I don't know. It's not like we have standardized systems for anything. Their IDs could be actually paper for all I know.
He then escorted me to his police station and office, where he asked me the same questions. Where are you from? Where are you staying? Again, I refused to answer without being given a reason as to why I was harassed and assaulted several times by his officers, who wouldn't identify themselves or even tell me why they were chasing me. He finally came up with a weak, completely untrue reason and excuse that I wasn't allowed to film or photograph anywhere in the streets of Giza.
And there it is. He finally said it. This is actually why. It's true. They are all aware of how bullshit it is deep down, or at least some of them are, which is why they will avoid telling you directly sometimes. I'm assuming the low-rank guys were just instructed to intercept any filming attempts. And when the guy didn't conform instantly, they just didn't know what to do and called the general over.
I couldn't help but laugh and remind him that I was in the public area, with lots of other people with cameras doing the same exact thing. This was the Pyramids of Giza, after all, the most visited tourist site in the world.
Okay, hold on a second here. This is actually not true. As big of a deal as you would think the pyramids are, they're kind of just a bubble. In reality, a lot of people don't visit it, or do so only once, simply due to the horrible condition of the country in general, and the area around them in particular. And our growing reputation of being a shithole, which is starting to spill out, is not helping either. If you Google the most visited attraction, you get a bunch of varying results, none of which have anything to do with Egypt whatsoever. So, reality check for all you propaganda patriot idiots. Know your size. Sorry, I just went on a little tangent here because I just couldn't pass this opportunity to give some people a much needed reality check. Back to Alex.
Again, I asked him why me, no answer, and wanted to see my pictures on my camera. I refused again. After 10 more minutes of interrogation, I decided to tell him where I was from because I knew this could change everything. I said I was American, and within 5 minutes, I was given food, water, freshly brewed tea, and the red carpet was rolled out for me.
He emphasizes how little Egyptians mean to the authorities. If you're a foreigner and get hurt here, they know there will be consequences, and the embassy will do work. Especially if you have a heavy passport like USA or the EU. Be smart. Don't flash it around unless you absolutely need to. Alex was smart to withhold that information until that point. Going around and telling random people that you're American will come off as a flex and will provoke some awkward contempt you could have avoided otherwise. So just save your shiny passport for the police and only show it when there is absolutely no other choice. But be confident that it will make a difference.
He became the friendliest, nicest man in the world and started apologizing for the misunderstanding, saying his officers were just trying to protect me and make sure I was safe. All this after I told him my nationality for the first time, of course. He asked to see my pictures on my camera again, and I obliged. He knew I filmed something, but wasn't quite sure what, and so I told him I'll show him everything if he lets me go home. He agreed that if I didn't have anything of his officers, I was free to go. Obviously, I did. He was trying to erase the evidence, but I knew I had to keep the footage to tell the story. So I played the game. I went as slow as humanly possible, showing him every single second of every single clip I had. Cows, the streets, the horses.
This is also a very smart approach to the situation. People here mostly don't operate out of actual belief in the system or patriotism or whatever, but more of a just following orders attitude. So they're lacking the passion to sit through or chase something for too long. Eventually they will just say fuck it, give up and let you go. Or you could also fool them using deck magic like Sonny did in his encounter.
They've gone through the shots on my phone, and we don't know what's going to happen next. It's possible they'll try to delete the footage. Luckily, we've already just airdropped the footage to a decoy phone, so it doesn't matter, but hopefully it doesn't get to that anyways. But this is what it's like to shoot here.
Finally, the last clips of the ordeal were up. By some act of luck, he said, okay, that's enough, don't need to see any more. Just barely missing and seeing these clips. It was apparent he was tired and I wasted enough of his time. He realized that he and his people made a big mistake, tried to make it up by being nice, and finally letting me go. I said thank you and have a nice day. Okay, so let me explain exactly what I found out later on after I brought this to the attention of my Egyptian friends and officials. First, it is not illegal to film on the streets of Giza. I didn't fly a drone or film government buildings, which is illegal. I did absolutely nothing wrong in this entire situation.
Yeah, it is officially legal, but unwritten rules matter too, more than written ones even in some cases. Recently there was a rumor going around that the Ministry of Tourism unbanned filming in public spaces in Egypt. However, when I went to look deeper into it for this video, I found an article of them actually denying that rumor and saying it is already allowed and has always been, but with restrictions. Some of which being that drones are illegal to own and operate, and you are not allowed to record military or police personnel or locations. They did admit that there was no clear record of what is and isn't allowed, and that they are now working on translating the decree into multiple languages and putting it on their website. Their website is new, by the way, and based off my experience with Egyptian government websites, I predict it's gonna break down or be forgotten about very soon, because we just don't do digital. They also went on to say that tourists often break these rules without knowing and interpret the consequences as stubbornness from Egypt. Bullshit, of course. The only rule Alex broke is recording unflattering footage of Egypt, and the best ever food review show didn't even break that one either. They just don't want you to record them. They're terrified at the thought of their corruption somehow getting documented and exposed, as if the entire world doesn't already know this is a corrupt place.
I later learned that the government tries to keep such issues like sanitation, living conditions in Giza a secret to the public. I mean, just look at my last video on Giza itself. Doesn't exactly make the place look great. Second, I was stopped, harassed, and cited as a threat, perhaps even a terrorist, because I was a single male with a beard that looks Middle Eastern.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. And it would have been worse if he had a beard but no mustache, because that particular look has a not so great history here.
My Egyptian friends tell me that they themselves experienced the worst treatment by police in their own country, and this kind of treatment is very common for Egyptian men, I'm told. The number one tactic of these police is to intimidate you and scare you into doing whatever they want and answer any question by showing you their gun and harassing you.
Yes, true. And as Egyptians with no one to run to and no safe home to run back to, it works. I mean, what are you gonna do? File a report that the police harassed us? Do the police who harassed us? Yeah, you can see where the problem stems from. In this last segment, he goes on to blow his own trumpet, as the Brits would say. Rightfully so, of course, because if he didn't handle this so well, I wouldn't have even reviewed his video in the first place. Hell, he might have not even made it. That being said, take it away, homie.
I knew that I needed to stand my ground after my risk assessment of the situation. Filming this was a calculated risk, but I did have in mind that I could be unlawfully arrested, detained, or even worse, shot. But I knew I needed to tell this story. I did everything right in this situation. I remained calm the entire time. I didn't yell like everybody else was yelling to me. I asked the right questions. I knew my rights and the law, and I never ran away. I felt if I did, I might have been shot. Also, if I hadn't jumped out of the way of the police car, I could have been killed. That's no joke, that was a real possibility of happening. When I asked the captain about his officers grabbing and assaulting me, he was more worried about deleting the footage than acknowledging the mistake and apologizing. In the end, I felt violated, scared, threatened, and this was an unsettling experience that showed me the ugly reality of how police profile, handle, and unjustly deal with their mistakes, and even their gross use of power.
Get out of here, man. Shit.
Okay. That was a wild ride, huh? I've said it before, and I will keep on saying it at any chance I get. There are no rules here whatsoever, and everything is on a case-by-case basis, in which a lot of variables are involved. How you look, how you sound, the person you're dealing with, the location, the time of day and year, just so many variables. You need to be aware of that and assess your situation on every decision, because there's ultimately no law or general guidelines to refer to. I'm not here to tell you not to visit Egypt. I wouldn't personally, and I will leave here on the first opportunity I get and never go back. But that's just my opinion. You decide for yourself. Don't let me or anyone else on YouTube or wherever else decide for you. What I am here to do is just to let the people know what it's actually like, so that you can make an educated decision, and if you do decide to visit anyway, you have an idea what to expect. Expectations are a huge part of why a lot of people don't like their time here, because this shithole has a massive bubble around it, and although it is deflating slowly, it is still very much there. So by letting people know what to expect, they can actually have their goals met by setting realistic goals and be overall more satisfied with their visit and be safer throughout it as well. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful or just fun, and subscribe if you like this type of content. Also, join my Discord server if you would like to hang out with me personally and a bunch of my viewers. It's a lot of fun and it's super intellectual. And again, if you would like to help fund my escape from Egypt, you can check out the BMC link in the description. I would greatly appreciate it. All that being said, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.
Nice.